atmospheric rivers that can contain many times more water than the world's largest rivers could cause massive floods capable of wiping out entire species. These narrow jets of humid air are expected to increase under future climate change, according to new research. The study claims to be the first to document the biological impact of atmospheric rivers. The research, carried out by University of California, Davis and the San Francisco Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve, or NERR, documents the mass death of wild Olympia oysters in 2011. This shows us one way in which extreme events might affect coastal ecosystems, said lead author Brian Cheng, a UC Davis doctoral candidate and NERR graduate research fellow at the time of the study. Oysters can help buffer shorelines and enhance biodiversity, but this is one facet of climate change that might be a hurdle for oyster restoration efforts in San Francisco Bay. Atmospheric rivers, or rivers in the sky, are long, narrow corridors of concentrated moisture that travel in the lower atmosphere. They can transport 7 to 15 times as much water flow as the Mississippi River, but in the air. In California, atmospheric rivers have been known to deliver up to half of the state's annual precipitation in just 10 to 15 days. They have also been linked to all 7 declared floods on California's Russian River between 1996 and 2007. While atmospheric rivers are expected to increase, their unpredictable nature makes it difficult for researchers to collect ecological data before and after extreme events. The researchers were able to gather data in this case after previously experimenting with how oysters respond to changes in temperature, salinity, and oxygen. They learned that oysters have a specific threshold for low salinity. In March 2011, a series of atmospheric rivers caused landfall in California, leading to intense rain resulting in a massive increase in freshwater flowing into San Francisco Bay. This caused a low salinity level that matched the oyster's low salinity threshold that the researchers had previously discovered. They had been monitoring the massive Olympia oyster population at Chinacamp State Park in northern San Francisco Bay. This was home to some 3,000 oysters per square meter in comparison. The next most densely populated site has around 100 oyster per square meter. Following the atmospheric river event, nearly all of the oysters at Chinacamp died. The researchers estimate that the death toll was in excess of 100,000, possibly hundreds of thousands. The researchers concluded that the deaths were the result of low salinity. This was caused by extreme freshwater flow into the bay, which was traced back to rainfall over the Sierra Nevada mountain range. There were 20 atmospheric rivers between October 2010 and September 2011, said the researchers, with 3 of them taking place in March, right before the mass oysters death, said the researchers. Prior to the 2011 die-off, the wild oyster population in the area was already struggling, though they are beginning to come back, said the researchers. However, the future is uncertain and any major weather events in future, including atmospheric rivers, could knock back their progress again. On the one hand, it's good news that despite the mass die-off, a few years later, they came back, Mr. Cheng said, but it's not as simple as that. These new oysters are smaller and less fertile, and that may have consequences for restoring oysters in San Francisco Bay. To deal with the expected influence of atmospheric rivers and other extreme weather events, Mr. Cheng thinks strengthening the entire oyster population across the bay is the best way to help them recover and be more resilient to future changes.